You're listening to the Loyalty Minute, the show that helps you build better customer loyalty and more valuable user engagement. With your host, Rob Gallo.
Welcome, loyal listeners, to another episode of the Loyalty Minute. I'm your host, Rob Gallo, and today I'm super eager and excited to chat with Bob Macdonald. Bob is the CEO of Bond, a leading customer experience and brand loyalty business that solves complex customer challenges for some of your favorite brands. Welcome to the show, Bob. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Rob. Delighted to be here today.
So, this is the pinnacle. When we talk about brand loyalty, we've got Bond brand loyalty. So, for those who don't know, maybe they're living under a rock, give them some background, if you could, on yourself personally, and then Bond brand loyalty and how it all ties in together.
I'd be happy to. How much time do we have? Because I could go on forever, but I'll try to keep it short. I was born in New York. So Bond is in, as you indicated, the loyalty business, loyalty customer experience business. And I'll come to the name Bond in just a minute. I've been part of the organization for 26 years, I believe. I didn't believe I'd be anywhere for 26 years. We used to be part of Merit's Holdings out of St. Louis. In 2013, we changed our name to Bond to be more reflective of the business that we're in, Bond brand loyalty to be more reflective of the business that we're in. And in 2015, myself and a group of our leadership bought the business from Merit's. And so we have been independent for the last 5.5 years as an organization. I'd say we've been in the loyalty industry as a business since its inception. We cut our teeth in this industry and we evolved to it in a particular fashion. And we feel so strongly about what loyalty is all about that, in fact, we named our company perhaps twice after the notion of loyalty. Brand loyalty being obvious, but perhaps less obvious would be in that lockup would be the word bond. And to us, the word bond is all about connections that withstand the test of time, the longevity of connections, connections based in experiences, connections based in common interests and personalization. And so when we renamed our company 7 years ago, Bond was the focal point. Great.
So we're going to get deep into Bond brand loyalty, but for right now, I want to touch on Bob Macdonald as a consumer. Sure. And just to get a visual picture, maybe with some stories of a brand or two that you're loyal to and why, or a brand that you're more loyal to and not anymore for whatever reason. And if you can kind of wrap it in a story, it makes it easier.
Yeah, of course. Well, all of these types of consumer, this is why they're so powerful, is all consumer experiences that are shared, either positive or negative, are typically, follow a tradition of storytelling and elaboration. So, interesting. Here's what I'm gonna name first. People name Starbucks. They get my order. They put the little heart and the smiley face on it. They get my name right some of the time, etc. I'm not going to use Starbucks. I would use actually my favorite airline. I am a frequent flyer on Air Canada. I can't wait to get on planes more often again. I have been a top tier customer of theirs for a number of years. I've traveled extensively. I believe that not only, and interestingly, I never really used the points to do anything. I use those on my kids and friends, and even donate them at times, right, to different causes. But the status matters to me. Maybe it's a bad word, but the status matters to me predominantly because it allows the entire travel experience to be that much smoother. You get access you get through the lines faster. You get in certain cities, you get concierge service. People will guide you through security. And why I emphasize that, let's face it, loyalty is programmatic loyalty basically started in airlines, or really propagated within airlines. And it used to just be points and use earn burn systems. I actually believe Air Canada has in fact, now with the new model, is using that data and that relationship that they have with me, and they know my patterns, to actually facilitate what can be a very cumbersome process into as smooth as possible. And I realize it's not for everybody on the plane, and that you have to have flown an awful lot to be treated that way. But I've got a very, I actually appreciate that airline a great deal, and I'm probably a rare person in that. But if I can, as they were trying to make that shift, I remember standing at a gate once, and you can imagine the customer, the gate agent, trying to do the right thing, and she paged out in a loud voice as everybody was clustering around the gate, not filing into their lines and so on that they're supposed to. She shouted out, "We are only boarding high yield customers now, only high yield customers." And what I love about that, obviously, it was an attempt to stratify, to distinguish, to treat high value customers in a particular way. Unfortunately, she just kind of missed the mark a little bit in terms of her representation of who that audience might be. So clearly I had overpaid for my ticket.
Yeah, that's status in that context can work for you and against you in that instance where people are looking at you like, all right, who is this guy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It reminds me of, back in the casino days when I had a casino, we had an online, a pretty big online casino, and we had tiers of groups of customers that would get certain, like if they called in and they,
of course.
the customer service agent is going to put in their name, it's going to show up with a pattern or a color across the top. And then they would transfer to a preferred player or a VIP player. Again, we had customers that we would give $30 travel vouchers to, and we had customers that would get a set of golf clubs for Christmas.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So,
So I actually think that when I think of loyalty, I think of way beyond programmatic and do this, get that, as explicit, do this, get that. I actually believe it is exactly the way you described it. You're offering your top, in that scenario, a Vegas casino is offering their top tier customers a particular, so probably flights down. They probably go even well beyond that. They're offering a certain level of service. And I actually think they're not even trying to hide it. They're actually trying to give everybody else something to aspire to. Absolutely. So you might have a little bit of you might look at that person who's getting to the front of the line and think, what the heck? But at the end of the day, that is what what you want as the business. That is what you want to have happen. You want the people to aspire to transact with you more often, so they can be treated the same way. And it's a chicken or egg argument in a certain way, but I absolutely think that's one of the goals.
Yeah, but at the same time, obviously, you don't want to alienate the steady group of customers that are making up the masses, even though they don't really, we had the 80-20 rule where 80% of our business came from the top 20% of our clientele, which is in every industry. But the bottom 20%, the thing is that you obviously have to treat them right, because otherwise they can give you a flat tire by.
In your example was actually the bottom 80%, right? Who's producing 20% of the results. That's a lot of people who can put a hole in your tire.
Exactly.
Right.
So, keeping them all happy on an individual personalized basis is a difficult task, or at least it was back in the day. Now it's easier, I think, with technology, artificial intelligence that can kind of pinpoint certain people and their trigger points and things like that. And that's going to lead me into my next sort of question, which is, now let's talk about from a business standpoint. You're running an agency that manages and maintains loyalty on behalf of other clients, right? So
correct.
You have two different bits of loyalty. Your customers and clients that are loyal to you, but then you're managing and maintaining or spiffing up their loyalty program to have their clients and customers loyal to them. So yes, I guess my question is, first, from your customer's standpoint to you, to Bond, how do you look at that in terms of measuring it and tracking the loyalty and maintaining it, obviously?
I've been working on this thesis recently, this notion that says that, the age-old proverb of treat people how you would want to be treated yourself, right? Everybody's heard this?
Yeah.
I actually think it's a good starting ground, but that's not it. I actually think treat people the way they want to be treated. And if you're treating people just like you want to be treated, then that's actually fairly self-absorbed at its core, right? That's not very empathetic, and that's not really seeking to understand more about the audience that you're talking to. So I don't know what kind of heresies I've just created out of that, but that notion is an important one. So with regard to your question, I believe the same thing that we would say to our customers, which is everybody's overusing the term personalization, but if you think about what's at the core of that, I mean, they're overusing it and under delivering it. At the core of that notion is the idea that you are going to seek to understand, meet people where they are, and deliver experiences that are to their expectations. That's easy for you and I to say if we were interacting one-on-one. How do you now do that on scale? A lot more difficult. And that's, I guess that's why the marketing industry over the years has tried to distinguish demographics, psychographics, market segments, personas, and everything else to try to bucket it down. I would suggest that the goal is to try to know all of them individually. Now, is that aspirational? Probably. But I think never has there been as much data offered up that can be used in a benign for good purpose to deliver experience to customers that they want. Everybody, I can tell you, we are not in the business of monetizing data at all. Not at all. The only thing we would do with data that's offered by our customers is help guide towards delivering experiences that are more meaningful and on the mark for those individuals. So I think technology and data has allowed for personalization or individual relationships on scale unlike ever before. So you take that same thinking, and it should be easier for Bond with our own customers. It's not to say that we're always perfect at it, especially in this particular environment where you can't just often just go sit with a client and figure stuff out. Yeah. But our ability to meet our clients where they are, provide service to those clients, to prove ourselves and prove the efficacy of what we're recommending to our clients, and then continue to grow with our clients is the way in which our business is modeled. We are not pounding on doors trying to find new clients. We want to delight the hell out of the clients we have today, help them connect with their customers, and expand through references. Is basically our approach to the marketplace.
Yeah. So I was on your site before we got on the call, and I saw, for example, what you did with Scene, right? Yes. So the case study with Scene, and for those in the lower 48 that don't know what Scene is, it's a Cineplex rewards platform for the movie theaters. I think they're in conjunction with Scotiabank. I don't know if they're... Yeah,
there's a number of partners involved, but Cineplex is the largest theater chain, similar to an AMC in the US, and that they've got a significant market share in Canada. Great organization. Yeah. And it is a partnership with them and Scotiabank.
So in essence, you're earning rewards for doing things that relate to the brand as a consumer. So in something like that, when you put that together, and I think it was called Synapse, if I'm not mistaken.
Our technology platform is called Synapse, and that's the brain and the engine behind the Scene program.
Right. So for an end user who's interacting with this platform, are they recognizing, does Bond come up anywhere?
No, nor should we.
No.
We consider ourselves to be a secret weapon for our clients. Right. We love recognition when we can get it, but that's not the goal. The goal is it should be all seen in that particular case.
Yeah.
But my dream of that program, and then this has been a tough year for obvious reasons for theater chains everywhere. Yeah. And my hat goes off to the folks at Cineplex for the year that they've put behind them now, and I think they're really coming out of it, which I think is terrific. It's a great organization. So. My goal, our goal or ambition for that particular program in the future, wouldn't it be brilliant if in fact you bought a ticket online, when the tickets, when the person's going to be going, when you're going to the theater, you choose one of the Scene partner restaurants, and that system all works together to communicate who you are, what movie you're going to, when you're going to be coming out of the movie. You could offer some faster meal in advance. You could offer dessert after, come back after the movie. And there's all sorts of mechanisms that could be used to offer up an evening of experience based on, as I said, first or zero party data that's being offered up by those consumers in order to get a better experience.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't become too creepy,
Yeah, right.
Obviously,
well, I actually, you know this as well as I do. I actually believe loyalty to be the highest form of hand raising. These are people who are raising their hands to say, I want a relationship with this brand. And I think there's ways of offering up permissions and do I want to be anonymous? Do I want to be, do I want to be in person anonymously, or do I want to be in person, visible as a member of it, and give me what you got?
Yeah. So, I mean, that leads into one of my other questions in terms of the future of loyalty beyond the technology of it. Although, I had a guest on a couple of weeks ago. He went into a technology-based example, and I was like blown away. It was Wawa, of how he goes into Wawa every morning, and they would have his donut there, and they knew his favorite donut, but on Wednesdays he didn't need a donut, or whatever the case may be. And he had this thing nailed down.
That's amazing.
I gave him the question prior to the episode, so he must have had time to write it. But again, not getting too deep into the weeds, but what does the future of loyalty look like for you post-pandemic?
Yeah, we obviously spend an incredible amount of our time thinking about the future of loyal relationships. And I'm going to change the word a little bit, because I do think to, a good percentage of the population, the word loyalty is toasters out of a warehouse, or truly just earn and burn relationship, a delayed discount of some sort. So I actually believe, as I mentioned a moment ago, that loyalty is actually that a loyalty construct, a view of your customers or any audiences, because I think you could look at employees this way, and you could look at your resellers and retailers and everything else this way as well. That a loyalty construct, by using loyalty mechanics and enabling you to view your customer population or your audience population in different ways, and offer up experiences that fit that personality. I think it's about the experiences. It's about the service level offered. It can even be about product enhancement of some sort. Continuing to modify the way a product is based on what your most loyal customers are looking for. So I actually think, I believe it, as I said, I think it can be weaponized into weaponized for good. Maybe that's an oxymoron, but that it can be weaponized into a way for brands to truly connect. I also believe that, this last 18 months has had even the most outdated bricks and mortar company have to scramble to get into e-commerce, to develop some form of digital remote relationship with their customer base. So everyone who comes out of that strong will likely have a greater sense of who their customers are. And I believe there's a powerful opportunity for those organizations that were traditionally bricks and mortar, have been forced into becoming more e-commerce focused, to combine those two elements into a comprehensive set of experiences for their customer base. Mm-hmm. Even so much that today, hearing that Amazon, we thought they were creeping into this with Whole Foods a while back. I heard on the radio this morning that Amazon is now looking at some department store like structures in various centers through the U.S. Yeah. So, they're a fairly smart organization. They understand data. I think they're seeing something in this in this as well.
Yeah. Well, they did a deal with Kohl's a year or maybe 2 years ago, even more, where you could return things now at Kohl's in addition to Whole Foods and things like that. And I think obviously Walmart is playing a big part in that direction of them realizing, because I shop on Walmart.com all the time. It's exactly like Amazon in the context that it's not just Walmart products. They have a marketplace from tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of different vendors that are using their platform and they're getting commissions and things like that. So, it's 2-day shipping, it's the same thing. The only downside is I don't get free movies watching, with my Amazon Prime.
With Amazon Prime. Well, so maybe you're onto something. Right. So if the story I just told of what I heard this morning, and I was following Kohl's and Whole Foods over the years, waiting for something like this, but for them to be coming out of the pandemic, looking at basically setting up an Amazon version of a Walmart store. Mm-hmm. And if Walmart has gone to the Amazon direction, now you start to look around that and say, where else might Walmart go to try to offer more of that comprehensive offering that Amazon has, such as Prime Video content? So what would Walmart's version of that be to enhance that? Because I bet you lots of people are saying what you just said, which is, I love Walmart just the same as Amazon, except I don't get that Prime stuff.
Yeah.
So that's something for you to think about. What comes next for them?
Yeah, true. So when you think about loyalty, all right, I'm not loyal to Walmart by any stretch of the imagination. That's just a price type of thing. Although I do get treated. They have grocery stores now. Walmart down here has grocery stores in Florida, which is interesting.
Yeah,
I never even really thought.
Well, is it in the back? Is it a back of a dry goods or
store?
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, it's called Walmart Green.
Huh.
So if the facade of the store is green, it's just a supermarket. They have maybe 5 or 6 aisles that have some other ancillary stuff, but it's a supermarket, just like any other supermarket.
Wow.
So, and I think they recognize that as well because of the fact of the margins being as low as they are throughout the entire company, that, consumables at the food level are obviously a staple people are eating every day.
And that's why I'm going to come in more frequently. But you just hit on it right there again. Look, they just created their own Whole Foods.
Yeah.
So like the dance of these two organizations is becoming a little bit more explicit in terms of the directions that they're taking to replicate the other. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Bezos is Jeff Bezos is I think future is taking over the world.
Yeah, right. Of course,
going into space and whatnot. So I know we could talk about this forever, but we're getting to the point where the attention span and the listenership gets to the point where it's like that. So let me ask you this: what sort of actionable advice could you give to our listeners that they could implement in short order that would increase their loyalty, their customers, being loyal to them?
Yeah, so I'm not going to be as succinct as that. So I hope I can hold your listeners' attention. I think there's a number of things. I think that, or we believe, it's a lot of what we've already talked about here. We believe that use the data provided by your most loyal customers to do good, right? To deliver enhanced service, product, experience, whatever the case is, not just a transactional exchange. Mm-hmm. I believe for many organizations, so I touched on it in the bricks and mortar example, many organizations need to play to their strength. Or all organizations need to play their strength. In many of those businesses, people are dying to get back into that bricks and mortar space. So how do you use that e-commerce relationship, if you've been lucky enough to do that you've established, to now enhance the experience in your traditional bricks and mortar space? I think that is going to be huge. And the examples we've just riffed off of each other are exactly that. Amazon getting into it. Walmart going a different direction with Green Grocer and so on. So that would also be it. I've often said that the Netflix and the Amazons of the world know who you are as soon as you walk in their door. Probably just as you're thinking about it, and your Dwayne Reed or Walgreens is lucky to figure out who you were that evening after you've left. Yeah. So how do you actually start to create that bricks and mortar in the bricks and mortar, that type of frictionless but meaningful relationship that can happen as you walk in the storefront and cruise the aisles? And I do believe that technology has been accelerated to such an extent that in-store experience is going to be more reflective of what you'd experience online. I think constantly thinking about how, if you've got a traditional loyalty program, and they are wonderful. There's lots of noise out there around them. So constantly, like there's a lot of a battle for share of wallet. I think constantly striving to figure out how to enhance, without a race to the bottom in terms of spend, how to enhance the service, the extra perks and experiences that come with that membership, so that you can, we can help organizations very traditionally move through, move your next 20% up to the top 10% and move your bottom 50%, up a little bit and move it along to increase and grow your business. I think those fundamentals remain true no matter what audiences you're talking about.
Yeah, that's very true. In fact, I think, I don't know if we talked one after I hit the record button, but we were talking about Shell's Fuel Rewards program, right? And Bond did a loyalty report on them, and it was named the top gas convenient loyalty program. So they have a coalition loyalty program in there where you could now shop online at various different places and earn more gas, right? So,
right.
The traditional loyalty model is buy from me, I give you more little perks and benefits to then do what? Buy from me again. So it's a cycle, which is great. But now what if it's buy from someone else, but still earn my currency in exchange? So, credit cards have been doing this for forever. The 1% cash back on this, 2%.
Yeah. And there's even more. Sorry, you had a question. Keep going.
No. So I guess my thought was that, and when we talked about it before we hit the record button, which was the airlines that are all doing this with the online shopping mall and what have you, that you can earn elsewhere and burn off in your own environment.
Yeah, we actually are really focused on this notion of card linking, which is the opportunity for you to, without setting up a coalition and all of the intricacies of that, to allow for sharing of perks and benefits, and putting a card on file that allows for those those benefits to flow accordingly, in what represents more opportunities to earn, potentially more opportunities to burn, and a almost informal, less frictionful experience for the consumer. And we're seeing this type of thinking really take off. Be happy to talk to you about it in another session, or just one-on-one would be great.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Well, again, like I said, time-wise, I think we're probably the end of the platform, the end of the show. So if listeners want to get a hold of you, Bob, to learn some more about Bond, what's the best way they could do that?
Absolutely. Fire me off a note or go to our website at bondbrandloyalty.com, or by all means, send me an email at bob@bondbl.com.
Excellent.
Happy to engage in a conversation, keep this sort of thing going. At another juncture, I'd love to share with you our thoughts. We are creating a working title, Bond Institute, that will be applying loyalty and marketing service expertise into the not-for-profit sector and more purpose-driven activity. And I'd love to get kind of industry support in that into the future as well. So maybe that's a future conversation.
So is that like a course someone would take?
Well, you were trying to wrap up, and here I go. Just sorry. That's all right. We've designated one of our senior people as the executive director of. They are going to work with academia and all the latest in neuroscience, behavioral economics, nudge theory, all of that sort of loyalty mechanic work, and then think about how it can then be applied into whatever objective. Everybody becoming just that much greener in their activity. Let's get more shots in people's arms. How can you start to use this sort of loyalty mechanic, marketing mechanic, towards purpose-driven social good type of activities, and we're really passionate about this as a venture for us.
So we will definitely have to have another episode that will wrap around that completely, because I love the topic as well. All right, listen, Bob, I appreciate your time. I want to thank our loyal listeners for being loyal listeners, investing some of their valuable time with us. If you feel you received value from the show, we'd appreciate a 5-star review on your favorite podcast streaming service. If you think you know someone else who might receive value from listening to the show, please do share. That's how we grow. To reference this and other Loyalty Minute episodes, please visit theloyaltyminute.com. Enjoy.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for your next edition of the Loyalty Minute.